You need a UV system controller to monitor UV dosage, lamp hours remaining, alarm history, and other performance parameters for your home or small commercial project that's using the Viqua Pro Series ultraviolet disinfection system. You're not sure if the Viqua Commcenter will give you the information you need, what's involved with the installation, and how to set it up. No problem. In this video, I'll share with you the information that you need to know so that you can determine whether the Viqua Commcenter is right for your project. Hi, I'm Gary the Water Guy, and I simplify water filtration to help you conquer crappy water for your family and for your customers. This video is perfect for any water filtration operator who's considering investing in the Viqua Commcenter to monitor their Viqua or their Trojan UV Max Pro 10, Pro 20, Pro 30, or Pro 50 ultraviolet disinfection systems. In this video, you'll learn all about how to install and connect the Commcenter, what it can do, and how it can enhance your project. I've spoken to the tech support folks at Viqua, and I've asked them what are the most common concerns that folks have before investing in the Commcenter, and once they receive the Commcenter, what are your most common technical support questions about the Commcenter? So throughout this video, I'll be sharing with you all of their suggestions, tips, and tricks to make sure the Commcenter works great for you. So you want to make sure you definitely watch this video right to the end so you don't miss any of them. So think of it as your command center, and it also displays real-time UV dosage that's running through your system right now. And just so you know, this one Commcenter displays lamp hours, alarm history, and other performance parameters for up to 9 Viqua Pro Series ultraviolet disinfection systems, all displayed simultaneously. What else will it do? Well, its data logging capabilities will allow you to demonstrate its performance parameters and its history for any regulators or consumers, provides troubleshooting insights, and helps you keep up with maintenance proactively. And by the way, the Commcenter can be installed any distance from your ultraviolet disinfection systems. All you need is some extension computer cable. Or you can go wireless with an optional FCC-compliant wireless transmitter. These features make the Commcenter an excellent choice for commercial applications where dosage reporting and data logging are extremely important to prove compliance for health regulators. By the way, Commcenter provides data logging in 2 different ways. You can either use a micro SD card, you just push it into the side here. A big 512 gigabyte card will give you many, many years of data logging, or you can connect it to a computer using Viqua's MaxTrack software. So let's have a look at this a little bit more closely. So you can see that that's the screen at the front, but at this point you're probably more interested in terms of what's on the back. So there's 3 connections on the back and actually 1 at the side. So the one at the side, this one here is, you can connect it to dry contacts, and that's for if when there's an alarm, you can ring a bell or it can give some other alarm notification. In terms of the 3 slots at the back, one is for the cable to connect it to the Viqua Pro Series. The other is for the cable that would connect it to the computer. And the third one is if you want to connect it to an external power supply. Now, you don't have to connect it to an external power supply. It gets its power from the controller of the Viqua Pro Series. However, there may be a situation where, especially if you have multiple of these systems connected together, where since it gets the power from it, if you're taking the first unit offline to do maintenance on it, etc., then of course that will get rid of the power to the Commcenter. So you may want to get an external power supply if that's important for your application. So installation is super simple. Just one thing to keep in mind, the cable that comes with it connects into the back of the Commcenter, and that's pretty obvious. But the other thing to keep in mind is when you connect it up to the controller, it has to be connected to the connection that's furthest out. How it works on the controller is if you're connecting multiple controllers, a different controller would plug into this one at the back of the 2 connections, and it would plug into the Commcenter at the front of the 2 connections. So you can see here it's getting initialized. So then you can put a couple screws on the wall like I did here. They're 2.5 inches apart, and just hang the Commcenter from it. You would think they'd put the connections at the bottom so you plug the cable up into the Commcenter, but because it's at the back, it kind of stands out a little bit from the wall. It's going to work perfectly fine. I just found it a little bit odd, that's all. So then you just plug it into the controller. Like I say, it would be plugged in at the front side of the controller, and then it goes through its initiation process. And it starts looking for the different systems. It starts looking for the data logging. It starts looking for if there's an SD card. Now, unfortunately, you can't see what it's showing on the screen here. If you check the manual, it goes through it step by step, but I'll just kind of go through the basics. First, it's going to ask you to set up the time and the date. It's going to ask you what kind of UV system you have, what model. Is it a 10, is it a 20, is it a 50? So you're going to input all that information. And it's easy to control with these 4 buttons. Each has an arrow on it indicating the field that it changes. And then when you end up at the home page, it'll display how many hours you've got remaining on the lamp, and also display the dosage, the actual UV dosage that's going through your water right now, which is great information. And then if you want to change the screen, you just push any of the buttons and it goes to the overview, and the bottom left hand, it says select, so you push the bottom left hand button and it shows you the overview. You can press the button again and it goes to the different screens. So there's a maintenance screen. That's the screen where you would use to reset the hours once you've reset the lamp. It's also where you would go in to shut the system down temporarily while you're doing maintenance. We've got the settings screen. So again, that's where originally you would have put in the time and the date and all those other settings in there. And then it has info screen, which is going to tell you more about the information of the system that's been set up. Now, one thing to keep in mind, and one of the things the support guys were talking to me about, is that one thing you need to do is you can't hook up all the UV systems together and then hook up the comm center. You have to do one at a time. So you would connect the first one as we have here. Once that's all connected and initiated, then you plug in the cable from this ballast to the ballast of your next system, and then you initiate that, and it assigns a number to each of the systems so that you can keep track of it in the future. And that's what the info screen would tell you in the future. So then you can go into lamp hours, and again, it'll display, if we press select, it'll display the current lamp hours runtime, and then we can go into alarms. So it'll give you information about the alarms and the different units that we have here. Like I say, it assigns a different number to it, and it gets back to the overview. So like I say, unfortunately, I can't show you on the screen on the camera, but if you go through the manual, it goes through each one of those different settings for the comm center. I should mention at this point too, that there's 2 menus within the system. There's a basic and the advanced. When you've just got a single unit like I'm showing you here, it automatically goes to the basic one. You'd have to set it up through the menus to ask for it to go into the advanced. If you've got more than one setup, it automatically goes to the advanced menu. As you can appreciate, the advanced menu gives you many more options and many more things that you can adjust in terms of setting down one system for a couple hours while you're doing maintenance. You can adjust the flow rate. There's just so much more information there and so much more control over the system that you have if you need it. And within the settings menu, there's lots of things that you can control. Like you can control how loud the alarm is. You can control the contrast of the controller. Unfortunately, I can't control the contrast well enough for you to be able to see it on the camera. And again, if you use a 512 gigabyte SD card, you'll get 18 years worth of data on that card. So all you do is just pop it out, pop it into a SD card reader, hook it up to your computer, and you can download all that onto an Excel spreadsheet. And when the time comes that you need to update the firmware in the comm center, again, you would use that SD card, put it into your computer, download the software update, slide it into the comm center, and it'll update automatically. And if you're not sure what I'm talking about in terms of an SD card, this is what one looks like. You can get them everywhere, including Amazon. By the way, if you're looking for more information about these Viqua Commcenters, you can go to our websites, either waterestore.com in the US, waterestore.ca in Canada. We offer free shipping and discount pricing. The system comes with this cable to connect up to the dry contacts. So as you can see in this chart here, the black is the common, the green is normally closed, and the red is normally open. So you can set that up for the alarm. And again, when we're talking about data logging, I mentioned earlier about the Viqua MaxTrack software. If you need some more information about that, you can go to their website, viqua.com, or you can contact their tech support folks. They're great. They're one of the best tech support that I've ever come into contact with, and they've got some great information. I definitely suggest if you have any questions to contact them directly. Now, Viqua Technical Support said if you have any concerns at all with the system or with the comm center or the UV system, the first thing to do is always to reset it. How do you do that? Well, the first thing you do is you unplug the controller, the ballast, you wait for 1 minute. After you've waited for 1 minute, Then you hold down these two buttons together at the same time and then plug the ballast back in so it powers back up. Once it's fully powered up, then you want to reset the comm center, and to do that you push any two buttons. You push the two buttons diagonally. So bottom left, top right, hold them both down. That resets the comm center. Then you initiate the comm center and you bring each one of your UV systems back online one at a time. And when I asked Viqua tech support about what are the most common questions they get about the Viqua Commcenter, they named me 4. The first one is, how do you do the data logging? Well, you plug in the SD card on the left-hand side of the Commcenter. Number 2, what happens when you stop reading the information from one of the systems that's plugged into the Commcenter? Well, what you do is you do a reset on that system and then you reload that unit onto the Commcenter. What happens if you're not detecting any of the units? Well, you need to reset all of the systems and reload them back into the comm center. What happens if you're not seeing the graph for a particular unit? Again, do a hard reset. Click up here for your next video on Viqua Pro Series ultraviolet disinfection systems. Any questions or comments? Add them down below. I read them all. I'd love to answer yours.